It was the genius John Roebling who looked at a stretch of water and had an idea for a bridge, which all of his survivors.
The scale of the thing was classically American.
The idea of doing something that no other nation has ever done.
It was such an astounding act of engineering.
The Brooklyn Bridge had been in the minds of New York City leaders for decades, but it didn't become technologically possible really until the middle of the 19th century.
Linking Manhattan to Brooklyn in this age that this city is becoming one of the great metropolises of the world, not just the United States, but of the world.
It seemed to demonstrate that modern technology could accomplish just about anything.
It takes a long time for the Brooklyn Bridge to become a reality. Construction starts in the late 1860s and it's not finished until the early 1880s.
In its day, it was a tremendously innovative piece of engineering technology. It required the development of techniques for underwater construction and for suspending the archway of the actual bridge passageway. So yeah, it pushed the envelope significantly.
Think of all of the things that had to go into this. You had to dig down into the East River at great expense and at great human cost.
When John Roebling set out to build the Brooklyn Bridge, he predicted men would die, and they did.
John Roebling ends up being killed very early on in the process. His son, an engineer, takes over. He too is stricken with the bends from going under the East River, and he ends up sitting there in Brooklyn from Brooklyn Heights watching his construction finally come to fruition as he himself is wasting away. Emily Roebling is actually a remarkable character. When her husband is stricken with the bends, he's unable to leave home, she actually takes over many of his duties, supervising construction, coming up with her own ideas. And this is at a moment when women are really beginning to stake a very public claim, both in the workplace and more broadly in terms of politics.
Americans show a deep willingness to tackle huge, almost impossible projects where we don't really know if we can do it.
I think to this day remains just an aesthetic object that has compelled the attention of all kinds of people, paintings and photographs and poetry. And it does sort of sit there on the skyline as if it were a sacred object like an altar.
It symbolizes American progress, American ingenuity, and build the biggest, most formidable structure that we can and show the world that we can.
That bridge is still standing strong and is very serviceable today when so many other bridges built 50 or more years later came and went. Brooklyn Bridge is still going strong.